you guys, welcome back to K&KInspiredCreations with Latara. So today I'm going to show you guys how I made this very cute jumbo cupcake storage box or gift box. So I started off by pretty much doing the same thing that I did last week. If you watched that video, I grabbed this container. It's like a casserole container from Dollar Tree, and it comes with a lid, a plastic lid. First thing I did is I cut off the little handles on the side because I didn't need that because this is like a cupcake. And then I also cut the handles off of the lid as well. And the reason why I chose this dish is because the bottom of it has like these little raised sides or whatever that makes you think of like a cupcake. So I am using something called decoupaging, where you use Mod Podge and like paper or napkins or something to change the outside of it from white to something pretty. And yeah, so I found this napkin from Dollar Tree, and all I did was cut it down a little bit because I wanted to look the same all the way around. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some Mod Podge, gloss Mod Podge to be exact, but you can use any type of Mod Podge. And then you're just going to add the Mod Podge to the container. And I usually do like parts of it at one time, like sections. I don't do the whole thing at once. And then once you do put Mod Podge on the container, you're going to do a nice little amount. This is a fairly thick napkin, so I was able to put like a nice little amount of Mod Podge on there. But if it's a really thin napkin, then you don't want to put too much because then it'll wrinkle. But because this has the little raised edges and stuff like that, it really doesn't matter if it wrinkles because you can't really tell. You probably just think it's supposed to look like that. So that's what I'm doing, is just, doing it section by section. It's easier to do it that way opposed to trying to do the whole thing at once. And then I'm going to add the other side to it as well. And I do want to take a moment to thank you so much for watching my videos. You can be watching anybody's videos on the planet, but you're watching mine, and I'm very much appreciative of that. And I do want to go ahead and shout out Glam Candy Boutique on YouTube. She ended up making a jumbo cupcake. That's where I got inspired to make this from. So definitely check out her page. She makes a ton of really adorable fake bakes. And so I did get Mod Podge pretty much on that other side. And now I'm just adding the other half of the napkin to it. And after that, I'm just gonna basically, you can basically cut this down. You don't have to kind of put it over the other one. But I decided just to overlap the ends of the napkins. And so once I end up tacking that top layer down, then you want to take Mod Podge and then you want to go ahead and go over the top of the napkin as well. And that is basically sealing the napkin to the container to make it so that it's there permanently. And that's what decoupaging basically is. And so if this is your first time here, welcome to my little pastel bakery corner of the internet. And if you are returning, hey fake bake bestie, thank you so much for coming back. Here we create fake baked desserts, seasonal decor, and fun DIY pieces that look good enough to eat. So if that is your vibe, go ahead and subscribe. So next I'm going to work on the top part of the cupcake. So I'm using air dry clay. I'm using brown air dry clay as well as white air dry clay to get like a chocolate-ish or chocolatey cupcake color. And yeah, because this is a jumbo cupcake, I am using a lot of air dry clay. This particular air dry clay I got off of Amazon. Normally I use a different type of foam clay that I get from Designs by Janira, but for this particular cupcake, I didn't want it to be like too like fluffy or whatever, so I decided to go with this particular foam clay. And so I'm just pretty much mixing them together to get the color that I want, but then also while doing this, it also helps the clay so that when it dries, it doesn't like crack. Although with cake, you do want kind of some cracks in it because cakes aren't like, silky smooth or anything like that. Some they have cracks in it, but you don't want like a huge crack or anything like that in there. That's not like how you make cupcakes or anything like that. That's not a good looking cupcake if your cupcake comes out with like a huge crack in it. But yeah, so I just rolled it out like a snake until it was big enough to fit the container. And then I just kind of pushed it down over the edge. So if I did this again, what I would do is I would take some type of adhesive and put that on top like on the top first before putting the clay down. That way it sticks to the container like permanently. Just an FYI. And then I would probably push it over the edge more than I did, so that the edges don't become like, you can actually see it once the clay dry, because air dry clay does shrink as it dries. And so I am taking a toothbrush to just kind of add some texture to the cupcake, because like I said, cupcakes aren't smooth. They have like bumps in it and little tiny cracks and all kinds of stuff naturally. So I just take a stiff toothbrush just to kind of go ahead and put in some little texture to the bottom of the cupcake. So now I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to use in the inside to dummy it down, so that my I don't use like a whole bunch of, you know, air dry clay unnecessarily, but then I also don't use a whole bunch of spackle unnecessarily. They're both kind of expensive. So I'm taking a foam ball. And so for this particular one, I'm actually not going to use this foam ball. I'm actually going to use a foam ball that's shaped like a egg, but this is just kind of showing you how I did it. So this is silicone glue right here that you can get off of Amazon or even Walmart. So you could have used this to kind of adhere the clay to that plastic lid, or you can use like tacky glue or something like that. But silicone glue works really well. And so I just, you know, stuck that in there, adhered it to itself. And this is the one that I'm going to use for this particular project. The other one's just to kind of show you how to roll out the clay. So like I said, this one I use like a foam egg because I don't want it to be much taller. And so because it is like a cupcake. So as you can see here, I am using Fast and Final DAP Spackle, lightweight. And you can see that I just added some flour to it. And that's because I know that I'm gonna need to thicken it up, because I'm going to add a lot of paint to it to get the color that I want. So I am using bright magenta from Apple Barrel. It's my favorite color, pink. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it at Walmart as well. And so I'm just adding it to the spackle, and I am mixing it up real good. And the texture is going to be perfect, and that is because I did add that flour to it at the beginning. So I did add a piping bag that I've, you know, pretty much used before, but once it dries, you can still reuse it. And then I'm going to add that mixture of spackle and paint into it so that I can pipe this onto my cupcake. And one thing I will say is that I would actually recommend using baby powder instead of flour. Some people say that the flour molds over time. I'm not sure. It's never happened to me before, but I guess just to be safe, I would use baby powder instead of flour, or even cornstarch or something like that. So I am adding a piping tip to the piping bag so that I can pipe it. I usually use a 1M piping tip, so that's probably what that is. And now I'm just basically going around the little egg, and I'm going to use the egg as the dummy so that I can pipe high. Otherwise, if I just piped a whole bunch of spackle on top of itself, eventually it would cave in on itself, and it definitely wouldn't look like a cupcake. So this is a big egg and a big project, so I did have to add more spackle to that piping bag, which I did off of camera, and just kind of added more where it seemed like where it seemed necessary. But it's pretty much up to you how much spackle you want to use, as long as it looks full and thick and pretty. And so now I'm just adding in a cherry on top, and then a couple of little embellishments. I'm using like a couple of these little hearts that I found, I want to say at Dollar Tree. I'm not really sure where I found them. I found some red ones and some pink ones and some clear ones. And then I'm going to add these cute little diamond piece thingies that I actually did find at Dollar Tree, I want to say last year, just to kind of make it look cute. And once I pretty much finish with that, that's it. And here's the final reveal after it's dried. I love the way that it came out. This is a box, so don't forget, you can always add stuff in it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. And until next time, keep it sweet and keep it creative.